Finds it really funny that the symbol for the devil in a lot of cultures is a goat.
I love goats, and naturally, as the Capricorn, I had to research this myself, and I did this years ago, so I was really excited when this came up, and I was like, oh, opportunity. So let's take it all the way back to Greek mythology. Pan was a god with goat legs and horns. Now, I want you to think of the natural characteristics of a goat. They're pretty mischievous, they're very wild, free spirited, and so naturally, that can cause a ruckus to communities that like more structure. Pan was no different than a goat, and he was out there causing a lot of chaos and fucking a lot of bitches. So naturally, as these town folk did, they grabbed their pitchforks as soon as anything went wrong and they scapegoated Pan, blaming Pan for absolutely every minor inconvenience. That is just one example of where the term scapegoating actually derived from. And by the way, Pan was not the cause of any of these inconveniences the town folk were experiencing. So now we have the Christian Bible, and there was some sort of verse in there about Pan and how Pan represented the contrast of God. And basically, they took a goat and made this goat absorb all the sins of humanity. And then they basically banished this goat into the middle of fucking nowhere. So, yet again, we are now demonizing something that really is just being scapegoated. Now we're going to slide on over our attention to the Roman times, and I want you to imagine that once a year, your community picks a scapegoat, aka a person in your community, and decides, you know what, we are all going to throw rocks at you to death. We are literally going to stone you to death. And they did. And it was brutal. So as you can see, the only consistency through all of these different stories and backgrounds is the fact that a goat was a goat and people fucking hated goats for it. Now, if we take it to astrology, in astrology, these satyrs are represented by Saturn, which is why in tarot, the Capricorn card, which shows a goat, and Capricorns represent the goat and they're ruled by Saturn, the Capricorn card, it rules restrictions, it rules over greed, addictions, and basically any sin possible. And if I still have your attention, we're going to take it one step deeper and talk about the esoteric wisdom of the devil card, or the goat on the devil card. In esoteric wisdom, we recognize that we are versions of God and we are versions of the devil, and we have different aspects of us. It's even been depicted in our cartoons with the angel and the devil on our shoulder. It's around us symbolically in like the yin and yang sign and all these different symbols that represent the union of the feminine and the masculine, essentially, the light and the dark, all of those energies. Okay, now entertain me for a bit here. Taking in those concepts, that would mean that essentially we demonize things that we cannot accept, and that essentially the devil in itself represents the parts of ourselves that we don't accept, our shadow sides, and the devil represents the shadow, the hell, the inferno, whatever. Again, naturally scapegoating evolution entirely and sidelining our lives or stagnating our lives behind some sort of belief system or concept that's not even true. So, in conclusion, what I've learned from this is that the goat represents the devil because it's been accepted overall, no matter what belief system we have, it's been accepted as this idea of something that we are afraid of. Because if we are scapegoated, then that means that we are the devil. We are the ones to be being blamed. We are the ones being stoned to death. And I think that it's just like some part of our culture that we've kind of accepted over time since it's been passed down from generation to generation. I think goats are cute as fuck. Anyways, hope you guys learned from this. I thought it was fun and fascinating.